Today's review is for Halloween, which is a direct sequel to the original 1978 John Carpenter directed classic Halloween. Same name, different story. So that's why I'm officially calling this film Halloween the Return, because sequels shouldn't be called the exact same thing as the first film, much like the recent Predator movie. So it only makes sense. And it takes place 4 decades after the events of the original movie, completely ignoring all of the other sequels that came after it, and centers on Laurie Strode, being played once again by Jamie Lee Curtis, who has been preparing for Michael Myers' return after supposedly being captured after being shot by Dr. Loomis in the original movie. And when he finally makes his comeback, Laurie is ready for whatever Michael's got up his sleeve. Starting off with my thoughts on the original film, while I do still see the original Halloween as a really good movie, I do admit there are certain little things about it that just simply didn't really hold up very well for me. But even then, it's still a classic overall. And I do admit that while I do kind of think that some things in this film were kind of improved compared to this one, I still kind of simply see this film as kind of the same. A flawed, but still really intense and entertaining movie. Not really the best reboot, but it is good enough to warrant good attention. Jamie Lee Curtis does a really good job reprising her role as Laurie Strode. I thought she had some good lines to give off, and I definitely found on some more emotion to be found in her performance. She did a really damn good job, and I can't wait to see whatever she does next. I even thought a few of the new characters were okay, especially her granddaughter Allison. I was kind of expecting her to be like one of those kids in horror movies who you're just rooting for the villain to kill, like all those punks in that remake of Friday the 13th. But I actually did find her to be somewhat likable. I also didn't mind some of the scares in this film. Some of them actually worked kind of well and were pretty effective. There are some times where the scares don't quite work, but for the most part, they work pretty well. But pretty much what I loved about the whole movie was the musical score, which was done once again by John Carpenter himself. I haven't heard John Carpenter do music in a long time, and I was so excited to hear he'd be doing the score for this film. And it was a worthwhile wait, because his score in this movie is phenomenal. It does reuse a few pieces from the original, but it's mostly a fresh new score overall. Carpenter has proven that he's still got it, and it is amazing. He did a great job in this movie. Most of my issues are pretty much a bit kind of low, although pretty much the only really big issue I have with this movie is that there are some things about the plot and some of the callbacks that it has to the original that feel kind of derivative. It doesn't, sure, there are some new things it introduces, but yeah, there were some callbacks in this movie that I feel were just a little bit, well, not too necessary, at least for me. Also, there were a few new characters that were introduced that aren't really main characters. They're just kind of in certain scenes. And they're just not really that too interesting or just simply weren't too memorable for me. But overall, Halloween the Return was a good time. It was a fun, scary, and enjoyable follow-up to a classic though flawed film, and I think it's a decent way to make us forget about the curse of Michael Myers. Which I feel is for the best, because I'll take this over that any day. I'm going to give Halloween the Return a 7 out of 10. By the way, please tell me I'm not the only one who went to see this movie in the theater and was utterly surprised to see a trailer for Happy Death Day 2U before this movie began and before the full trailer actually gets released tomorrow. Spoilers for that trailer, Tree has hair like this after one death. Trust me, it'll be there. And it will be in the movie, I know it. Trust me. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my review. I'll see you next time, and peace out.